Now, the 19th annual Soweto Pride will be taking place this Saturday in Dorothy Nyembe Park. That's in Dobsonville. The event will be hosted by the Forum for the Empowerment of Women. This year's theme is creating inclusive communities through pride by highlighting equality and diversity. For more on this year's iteration of the event, let's bring in one of the organizers, Jade Madingwane, who joins us via our video link this morning. And Jade, it's so great to see you. Thanks so much indeed for making time. You know, 19th time around, it's certainly nothing to scoff at. I wonder what you reckon it is that's allowed this particular event to be able to have such longevity.
So, thank you so much for having me. It is really important for Black queer folk to have spaces in and around Soweto to reclaim their spaces, because most times we are told that being queer is an African, and so this is a political statement and an advocacy tool for the organization to have a Soweto Pride within the communities we exist in.
Yeah. The gathering, of course, of queer people, dare I say, is also not exempt from the politics of just being human, right? The queer community itself is not a homogenous group, and in some instances, if things are not checked, can reproduce the kind of forms of oppression that exist in a heteronormative society. The question then, I suppose, is how do we make sure that that doesn't happen with this particular event?
So, creating inclusive communities is the theme for the Soweto Pride, because we want our parents and the people we exist with within the communities to be on our side. Because if you remember, the Ugandan bill was the anti-homosexual bill in Uganda was passed, and the likes of the anti-gender movement are coming in strong and hard, you know, kind of saying that being queer is wrong because the Bible says so. You know, and so when we have our communities being our allies as Black queer folk within the community, we know that we are going to fight with the anti-gender movement, but also question the bills that are passed within the parliament, because we do understand that the anti-homosexual bill in Uganda will have a ripple effect within the other SADC countries. So what we are trying to do is to make sure that we have allies and that our parents understand our sexual orientation and identity.
Yeah, absolutely. You've touched on this before, and perhaps I should apologize to our viewers. It doesn't sound like our audio is too great, but hopefully we can still make out what you're saying, Jade. Let's speak about where it is geographically, right? It's very interesting because it's one thing to have Pride in Sandton, for example, where there's a very different cultural coding, and I suppose there's an expectation of great acceptance. But to be in Soweto comes with its own complexities, perhaps not necessarily challenges, but, you know, there is a different context to be considered this time around. How do you find the general community response to an event like this?
So we found that the community members in Dorothy, and this is the second year we are having, the third year, sorry, that we are having it at Dorothy, and they will come when we are having the march, the political march in the morning, where we raise awareness around our queer identities. We will see that people would ask questions, but also we march with parents of LGBTI persons, but also parents that are allies. We see them marching. When we hand out pamphlets, they ask questions around what are you doing, why are you doing this, what is why is the rainbow so symbolic to you? Because around this time, we always see you marching with rainbow. What does this look like? What does it mean? How can we support? How can we engage with you? And then we give them the information while we are doing the march. But also when we get to the venue, when we have the political program and the after festivity, we do get people, and they are not just LGBTI, but they want to support the work that we are doing around LGBTI bodies.
Yeah. I wonder if we can speak a bit more about the people who are hoping to be part of this event, Jade, but are afraid of the visibility that comes with that. You know, we do know that not every queer person is comfortable with being identified as being queer for whatever reason, and many of those in a society like ours definitely valid. What's your advice to that individual who perhaps is still reckoning with their own identity, knows the impact of being in the company of your own likes, but is still hesitant for whatever reason to be seen there, quite frankly?
Yes. It's going to be a safe space. No one is going to have say. People can come in however they want to come into the event. And so if people do not want to be documented, we have space for them to say, no, I do not want to be documented because of one or two reasons. And so we give them that we will not be photographing those people in that space, but the space will really kind of make people feel comfortable to be in a space with other queer people, for all of us to celebrate our queer identity. So it's going to be a safe space, and if people do not want to be documented, they do have the space where they say, no, I do not want to be documented.
Jade Madingwane, thanks so much indeed for speaking to us. An important event taking place tomorrow in Soweto, once again at the Dorothy Nyembe Park in Dobsonville. And hopefully we've done our part to raise awareness around it. Once again, Jade, thanks for your time.